And I said, sure, that would be fine. And then a few weeks later, I got a call from the Pentagon. And I was like, hey, how'd you get my number? And they said, hey, we got people. And I said, okay. And they said, hey, we just heard the song, and we want you to come to the Pentagon and do this song. And I said, sure, we'll come. And they said, we've never worked with a Christian artist before. And I said, you've got no idea what you're in for. So they flew us up to the Pentagon, and we did our song at the Pentagon. And as we were playing, this is true, people came out of their offices and down outside with their hands up in the air as they were singing. We weren't armed or anything. We're just out there singing. Well, we finished our one song. We did an extra song, and they said, hey, you got 45 more minutes. What are you going to do? And we said, well, we only prepared one song. And they said, no, you got 45 more minutes. And they said, you got to do something. So it was the first ever praise and worship set that had ever happened at the Pentagon ever. And afterwards, the general came down. I think he was the general because they had a lot of business going on right in this region here. And he said, son, I need to see you over here. And I got brought over because of that. And I got over there and he said, no, listen, I was having the worst day ever. And I wondered why I was here and just wondered what God had for me and why I was, you know, what my purpose was. And I was just really disgruntled and really discouraged. And all of a sudden, I hear Greater Thy Faithfulness walking down the hallway of the Pentagon. And then the next thing I know, I'm on my knees with my hands in the air and tears running down my face because I've been praying for God's Word to be in the Pentagon for 25 years. And he said that, and I got choked up, and I realized, and I started thinking about being adopted, and I started thinking about a birth mom who gave me life before I knew what life was. And I thought, God had already prepared for this moment for me to go before me to introduce Christ to a lot of people who would never ever hear it before. It was not in my own strength that I did it. God just said, it's your time for that, and put me in that place. So anybody out there that feels like, I just don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what God's got for me, He's got something in store for you. It's just a matter of when He's got something in store for you. Well, I got another phone call from another general at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, and he said, you need to come down here. And I said, how did you get my number? He's like, well, the Pentagon. And so we went down there, and he said, I just want you to see this. And I walked in on one Sunday, 10,000 airmen came into this church. And the first thing they did, they played this song. And as they played the song, they all stood up, they all put their arms around each other, they all started swinging back and forth. And they're singing so loud it's shaking the glass in the room. 10,000 airmen and their parents were all standing behind. And he said, that's pretty awesome, isn't it? And I said, yes. And he said, that's not why I brought you here. And he said, I brought you here because 90% of these airmen have never stepped foot in church before. You couldn't convince them to get into a church. But we found if we played this song, they wanted to come. And then they would stand up next to their brothers and sisters in the military, and they'd put their arms around each other. And then they'd start swaying back and forth, and they'd start singing your song, and now they love to come to church. But here's the thing. He said, none of them listened to Christian music before, but they loved this song, so they started buying the record, and they started listening to the record, and then they started sending a Christian record home to their families, and then they start writing their families and say, hey, make sure when you come up and see us, and come up and see me here at camp, you make sure you bring your church clothes, because I'm going to take you to church. And he said, every week, there's about 10 airmen that will come up to our chaplain and say, you know, I've been listening to the CD, and I got some questions about God, and I wonder if you can kind of walk me through that. And he said, that's why I got this. Not in your own strength that you go forward. God goes before you in all things. And says, if you trust me, I'll make the way possible for you. And I've got a plan for you. And you will see that plan fulfilled. And that's what happened. And so, if it's okay, I was going to play this song for y'all. We brought, you can sit back down, that's nice of y'all. We got everybody amped up. I feel like we should go march. So sorry, well, now I feel bad about it.
This is an amazing song.
So
Yeah,
this is a song that I wrote for my great-grandma, and I know, and I know I'm going to get this wrong, Anzac? Yeah, is that correct? I've heard a lot about it today, and I know you all get a day off for that. And I know there's folks who in this country have served for the freedoms that we have today. It's not in every country that you can go and lift God's name up and sing praises to God without having to go to jail for it. And it's because of the folks who served here and the folks that continue to serve to keep us free that we're able to do that. And so this is a song about my great-grandma. Down to the mailbox on that bright summer's day, found a letter from her son in a war far away. Broke up the weather and just spent that evening, but I've been thinking about her and the life that he had. That's what I'm here today. Then at the end you said, you know what I'm fighting for. It was the first of his letters from war. She started writing your good and your brave. What a father that you'll be someday. Make it home, make it safe. For every night as she prays. Late in December, I guess she'll not forget. Oh, she'll stay in the paper with each word that she read. She said I was up on a hill, I was out there alone when the shotgun rang out. The fires were exploding. That's when I saw him. Came back for me. Thought he was captured, and set me free. That man was your son. Asked me to write to you. I told him I would write for. It was the last of the letters from war. And she prayed he was living, kept on believing, right every night just to say, you are good and you're brave. What a father that you'll be someday. Make it home, make it safe. Wishing kept writing each day. Then 2 years later, on a week on the ground, I come home in the driveway, and she fell to the ground. And down stepped the captain, with her boy used to say, he said, Mama, following orders, Mama, your letters, and now come home again. We ran into her, and jumped on his back on the road, holding all of her letters from war. Make it hard.